Okay, this is our milestone 2 video reflection. Step 1 was the brainstorming. In the first milestone, we came up with several ideas for our app. We concluded that some were mandatory and some were not. Here are the mandatory ones that we picked. We said that our app must have some sort of timer and some sort of cross-device usability. We said that, here are some of the ideas that we think the apps should have but aren't necessarily mandatory. App tracking, so like how much you use of an individual app, as well as a reminder system. And here are some of the ideas that we thought could be a nice addition to the app. Friend and user comparisons, which would have some sort of page showing all your friends that you can compare to. It might include friendly competition notifications, etc. As well, we also thought that you could set even more specifications within each site. So potentially marketing, a YouTube channel that's educational, setting it so that it doesn't necessarily inhibit your screen time. All right. For step 2, in milestone 2, our next task was to come up with ideas for how this app would look and function. To do so, I planned out several functions for the app, which we later expanded upon. And here are the first couple mock-ups of that. So we have one storyboard showing how the app can be used across multiple devices. One storyboard showing when you open an app, how it starts a timer. And a couple screens showing app tracking, comparisons, and potentially editing specific parts of an app, like I just mentioned. For step 3, we came up with more descriptive and close-up versions of each of these distinct ideas to indicate which we thought were the most important from all of our initial ideas. Tyler made a mock-up of what the app would look like and how it might function with its specific task, which was like user comparisons, friendly comparisons, competitions, etc. And I made a storyboard for how one might interact with the app's main function as a whole, that being the cross-platform or cross-device usability. Lastly, using the mock-up from Tyler, Zhengyu came up with the paper prototype to show physically and in extreme detail how the app might be used. Here are the steps for the paper prototype. Okay, so firstly, the user would click the app on the phone. The app would show the login interface. The user is a new user and does not have an account. The user chooses to click the don't have an account button. The app jumps to the registration page. The user clicks on a text box. The keyboard pops up. The user enters content and clicks on the remaining text boxes. The user clicks the next button and the app jumps to the main page, which will show the user's screen time or screen usage in a week. The user can swipe to the right and it will show, what percentage was used by each app. The user can swipe to the right again, and this will then show the weekly stats of the friend's screen time. You can swipe up to see a different view of the leaderboard. So if you swipe to the left, it'll bring you back to the main page, and if you swipe to the right, then you can go to a last page which shows the device list. So lastly, here are some of the critiques or problems that we have with the initial paper prototyping of our project. For one, the sign up button seems a bit too small and not very user friendly. The keyboard that pops up on the registration interface blocks some of the screens, but there is no operation to retract the keyboard actively. Although it seems that this step can be solved through Apple's keyboard settings. Another thing is that birthdays are entered as a drop-down list. However, the content is currently missing. Also, for a first-time user, before entering the main interface, it should ask permission to obtain screen information.